Hey guys, I'm back here again, and I just wanted to briefly go over the verses from the last part, but this time I'm gonna show you the actual copy of the Quran where I got these verses out of. Just to show you that this isn't something I just typed up out of my head into my research into this. So I'm just gonna briefly go over them. Again, forgive me if it's kind of repetitive, but I'll just try and go through them. Okay. Surah 22 verses 41. Those Muslim rulers who, if we give them power in the land, they order for Aqimat as-Salat, therefore to perform the 5 compulsory congregational Salat prayers. Wow, okay. So basically, they have to pray 5 times a day, which any Muslim will tell you. Basically, it's another one of the foundations on which Islam stands. It's one of the 5 pillars on which Islam stands. So, yeah, here's an in-depth look from what the Quran is saying. Basically, performing as-Salat prayers, it means that each and every Muslim, male or female, is obligated to offer his Salat prayers regularly 5 times a day at specified times. The male in the mosque, in the congregation, and the female at home. As the Prophet said, order your children for Salat prayer at the age of 7 and beat them about it at the age of 10. Oh, okay. Then it says the chief of the family, town, or wherever, and the Muslim ruler of a country are held responsible before Allah in the case of non-fulfillment of this obligation by the Muslims under his authority. Okay, so basically, just as usual, I gotta pray 5 times a day and all of that. And the interesting thing is that, with the kids, it's basically saying that at 7, you should order them. But basically, you should tell them to pray, basically, and beat them about it at the age of 10. Well, beat them about it kind of sounds familiar to beating up their wives. So, oh well. Again, hey, freedom of religion. Surah 2 verses 185. Okay, the month of Ramadan, in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for mankind and clear proofs for the guidance and criterion between right and wrong. So whoever of you sights the crescent moon on the first night of the month of Ramadan, therefore is present at his home, he must observe Sawm fast that month. And who interesting. Well, again, the crescent moon pretty much represents the start of Ramadan, a mandatory time in which they have to fast, because it's saying in the rest of the verse that they basically have to make up those days if they miss them. Right there it says he wants that you must complete the same number of days. Wow. Interesting, because it's saying, wait, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And whoever is ill on a journey, the same number of days which one did not observe Sawm or fast must be made up from other days. So basically, if you miss the Ramadan thing, you gotta make it up, basically. So it's a mandatory thing. Mandatory, the thing that they have to do, basically. Especially at the start of the crescent moon. And here's a verse that I missed, but it basically reproves what I said in the first couple of parts. And it's basically saying, what, Surah 2 verses 195, it's saying, and spend in the cause of Allah, therefore jihad of all kinds, and do not throw yourselves into destruction by not spending your wealth in the cause of Allah, and do good. Truly Allah loves al-mushrin, the good doers. Wow. Note where it says jihad of all kinds. So yeah, again, it's like I said in the first part, jihad just doesn't mean spiritually living a good life. It also means fighting as well, of all kinds. So it doesn't matter how you do it, just get the job done. Here's the other verse, Surah 2 verses 196, and perform properly therefore all the ceremonies according to the ways of Prophet Muhammad, the Hajj and Umrah, therefore the pilgrimage to Mecca for Allah. But if you are prevented from completing them, sacrifice a Haiti, therefore an animal like a sheep or a goat or something like that. Interesting. So basically perform all the ceremonies. Well, I don't really know what those ceremonies are. Probably, most likely, part of it is the Ramadan thing, the fasting, and I guess other things. But and make a pilgrimage to Mecca, that same place where it's easily provable if you research it. There was like a whole bunch of Arabic pagan gods there in Mecca, but Muhammad came and said, hey, let's just worship one God, Allah. But what they won't tell you is that Allah, he was one of those deities that they worshipped back then. But Muhammad would say, hey, let's just worship one God, Allah, which proves himself to be the moon god, since you have to do things by the moon, basically. The most important thing by the moon, which it says it's basically mandatory. So, here it is again, Surah 2 verses 197. The Hajj pilgrimage is in the well-known lunar year months, therefore the 10th month, the 11th month, and the first 10 days of the 12th month of the Islamic calendar, therefore 2 months and 10 days. Wow, interesting. Well-known lunar year months. So it's during the time. Lunar means moon. If you look up the definition in the dictionary, lunar means moon. So it's by the moon, and it's mandatory. It's either you make the pilgrimage or you make some sort of a sacrifice, basically. So Allah proves himself to be the moon god, basically. There's no real, I don't see how you can really debate that. Surah 2 verses 189. They ask you, O Muhammad, about the new moons. Say, these are signs to mark fixed periods of the time for mankind and for the pilgrimage. Again, where it says about the new moon, so it's not just the crescent moon. It's obviously the most important one, but it's not the only. It's just like I said in the last part. I saw the crescent moon. It was on a Monday last week, and then Friday it was a full moon. And this Ramadan and the pilgrimage, basically, it's supposed to start on the crescent moon, basically. So everything is basically centered down around the moon. So Allah proves himself to be a God,